This is Late Night Health. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. During the next hour, we're going to talk about a couple of things that I think touch each and every one of us. During the second part of our show, we're going to talk about art to heal the world. I'm fascinated by this. This is a woman who left corporate world. She teaches art. She's an industrial psychologist, gave all of that up to create works of art to promote peace and understanding throughout the world. And actually, the first part of our show is really going to do the same thing. Writing is art, right? Our guest is Bruce Berger, Bruce J. Berger. He has written a trilogy about Jewish identity, family, and faith, and how Jews and Christians should be embracing their commonality rather than all this infighting that we hear each and every day. I can't stand the news, Bruce. It bothers me an awful lot. We go to Washington, D.C., and we speak with Bruce J. Berger. Welcome to Late Night Health.
Thank you very much, Mark, for having me, and delighted to be on your program.
Your background, you were an attorney for 40 plus years. You worked most of that time at the DOJ? Or
Actually, most of that time I worked in private practice, but for the first 4 years of my career, and then in a later segment, another 2.5 years, I was at the Justice Department. So I had a lot of government experience.
Gotcha. And you gave that up to be a writer. You've written, I don't know what, a number of books. If you could start your career over again, would you have foregone law school and just started writing earlier?
The legal career worked out well for me. I have to say, enabled me to provide for my family in a way that I thought I wanted to. And honestly, I'm not sure that I could have done nearly the same for my family as a writer. So although I have written my whole life, in retirement, I went back to writing much more seriously. And now this is a second career for me.
Well, then you didn't really retire. You just went to a second career.
Sure. It's just retired from my law firm.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I have to say that Bruce lives in the same city that my daughter lives in, and I'm going to try to convince him to have lunch with me when I'm there in the middle of March.
Happy to do that.
Okay, that'll be great. Do we have a problem in this world with getting along? Because I'm Jewish, she's Islamic, this one's Christian, this one's different kind of Christian, and this one over there doesn't believe at all.
We do have a problem. I mean, I just read in the paper today about, call it religious violence in India, with Christians being, attacked, for their religion. So we have a definite problem.
Is the world broken? Can it be fixed?
As a faithful Jew, we believe that the world can be fixed, and we each have a role, small role perhaps, to play in helping to perfect the world. So yes, it can be fixed, but it may take a long time.
In the last couple of weeks, we've had a number of people pass away, celebrities, even local people, friends, family. And you have to think, is there really something bigger than we are? Or are we just a bunch of chemicals? How do we know?
Well, there's no way to know. If by knowing you mean adducing some scientific proof. Whether a person believes in a supreme being or not is a matter of choice. And the nature of belief is that it's not subject to scientific proof, and it shouldn't be. So I'm a believer, I'm happy to say, but it's a choice that one makes in the course of a lifetime, and from time to time you can make different choices. One of the main characters in my book, Dr. Nikki Kovo, I should say books.
Yeah,
Was
it's a
raised in a
trilogy.
was raised, and he's a character in many of the stories that come before the books. Was raised in a Sephardic Jewish home in Salonika, Greece, and grew up, past the age of bar mitzvah, is a very devout Jew. But come the Holocaust, he became a devoted atheist and remains that way, through all the novels that I've written. So first of all, one chooses what to believe, and those choices can, in some people, change in the course of their lifetimes.
Have you ever lost faith?
Yes, in fact, probably when I was in my mid 20s. I can't give you the exact time, but there was a period of time. Well, I do remember it was at law school. I had a particularly bad year, but yes. So for a time, I did, and then realized that I was going to create my own life by my decisions, and decided to return to being a person of faith back then, and have never looked back. Not that I'm particularly observant, but I still value the choice that I made to be a believer.
When that word faith, that's a hard word, and it's a hard word because, as you just said, there's no scientific proof. I mean, honestly, if you were driving to the market for your wife and she said, Bruce, go pick up some milk. We're out of milk. And on your way, a burning thing started talking to you from the passenger seat and said, Bruce, you're it. You're the new one. You're the Messiah. Okay. And here's what I want you to do. And you would go, oh boy. And then you told your wife she'd have you locked up today. Wouldn't she? I mean,
I think my wife would think I was joking, and if I persisted with it, she'd quickly tire of the joke. At some point, if I persisted with this, she might have me talk to a doctor. Put it that way.
yeah.
Okay.
But when somebody is uber religious, is that not the same thing, or am I missing something? And it can be Jewish, Islamic, Christian, Buddhist, whatever.
It's hard to say. I mean, again, in my books, I have very religious people. For example, Sister Theodora, who in my most recent novel, the one that's coming out in March, has an intense desire to see God, and she believes she has a divine message. And the abbess of the monastery in which she's a nun almost thinks that Sister Theodora has lost her mind as well. So even religious people and devoutly religious people can doubt when they hear a message from someone else that some miracle has occurred.
I think of the movies Oh God. I think that's a perfect thing. The name of the book, by the way, is To See God. It's the third in a trilogy of books by Bruce J. Berger, and I have not had the opportunity to read them. They're on the way, and I will be reading them because this is just it's kind of a religious mystery if you don't. It is how I'm interpreting it. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. This is Late Night Health. Join us at latenighthealth.com. We will have a pretty picture of Bruce up there, a cover of his book, and how to learn more about Bruce. Don't go away. Late Night Health continues. Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com. Late Night Health is proud of our partnership with the EBC, the Evolutionary Business Council. Check them out at ebcouncil.com.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Alyn. The show continues in a moment. If you're listening to Late Night Health right now, you're part of the growing target of baby boomers we're serving. Hi, I'm Daryl Wayne, producer of Late Night Health, inviting you to join the Late Night Health family. If you have any business targeting the growing boomer market, Late Night Health is the ideal advertising vehicle for you. From vitamins to insurance, alternative health to Western-style medicine, Late Night Health caters to the growing population of those over 40 years old. This vibrant demographic has expendable income to fight aging, purchase travel, take care of aging parents, or just have fun. Find out about the advertising opportunities with Late Night Health. Call us at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308, or email us at info@latenighthealth.com. That's info@latenighthealth.com. Join Late Night Health as we empower people to take charge of their own health care. Call now at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Words are a critical aspect of success. How you get your point across is a crucial part of what makes anything sell. So do it right and hire a writer. Whether it's articles, blog posts, technical writings, website content, product descriptions, or ghostwriting anything from a novel to a nonfiction book about your navel, contact Servet Hassan. If you want it to sell, write it right. Email Servet at servet@servethassan.com.
Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne, and we're talking about life. We're talking about a new book that'll be coming out in March. It's called To See God. This is the third installment of the Nikki and Cal story. Can you tell us the titles of the other two books?
So the first book is called The Flight of the Veil. And it involves how a sister and brother were separated by the Holocaust for 47 years, and neither aware that each other was alive, are reunited. Nikki, a psychiatrist, and has made his way to America as a psychiatrist, and his younger sister, who, shall we say, converted to Greek Orthodoxy and is a nun in a Greek monastery. So the second of these books, and by the way, they're all standalone novels. You really don't need to have read the other ones in order to enjoy any of them, I don't believe. The second one is called The Music Stalker, and is most concerned with Nikki's family in the United States. His daughter, Cal, who's named after his daughter Kayla, who's named after his the sister he thought he had lost, is a piano prodigy, and their older brother Max. So that is the second of the three, and then the one that's coming out now, To See God, is an immediate sequel of The Flight of the Veil. It picks up exactly where that earlier novel leaves off.
How much of this is autobiographical, either from you personally or from your family? Or is it not?
I would say some of it is inspired. So, for example, and I studied the piano from age 4, and had some feeling for what it's like to practice the piano, although never had the talent of my character. But part of my own upbringing inspired, the creation of that character, Kayla Kovo, who is the piano prodigy. But more fundamentally, I think, the first book involves what I would say are Christian miracles. And I was motivated by a family member, a cousin of mine, who experienced miracles that he talked to me about, and 40 years ago, perhaps, and have always fascinated me. So, in the back of my mind, I've always had this idea of how do we, reconcile the experience of miracles by some and miracles that seem foreign and impossible to others in the same family. So that is another big motivation that comes from my own life, in which I wanted to explore as I wrote that novel, The Flight of the Veil.
As an attorney, as an American, is this country a Christian country?
There's certainly many people who feel that it is, or it should be. I'm much more of the view that it's a diverse country with all kinds of religions and lack of religion, and it should remain like that. So I think Jews, for the most part, have been very fortunate in the United States to have general freedom to be who they are. But we're still beset with anti-Semitic problems, every day. And just in Montgomery County, Maryland, where I live, there are anti-Semitic graffiti, found in high schools. I would just say that we're constantly beset by anti-Semitism and other acts of hatred. It's a continuing battle. We're always going to fight it, and that's just the way the world is.
Do you think your books can help fight that?
I think possibly for some. I think if, let's say, a Jewish person reads The Flight of the Veil and is motivated to imagine miracles that occur in this book, they may have a different, perhaps more favorable view of their Christian friends or neighbors.
And I guess part of the book is to show the similarities rather than the differences between specifically Christianity and Judaism.
Yeah, I think that's true too. So in To See God, the book that's coming out right now, you have a devout Greek Orthodox nun spending months with an Orthodox Jewish family and talking to each other at times about their faith. In particular, there's the issue of seeking forgiveness from God, forgiveness from one another, and it's an issue that all of us have to deal with, because all of us in some way have wronged others, have strayed from a good path, and the idea of these religions being so different in some ways, but in other ways being so similar with respect to praying to be forgiven.
What do you think is going to happen in the next couple of years? I'm asking you to be a prognosticator here, but within the area of getting along, the dichotomy that we have in the last, I had to figure out 6 years, 7 years, splitting families apart. Just it's It's unheard of in this country. Will it be solved?
I think we're going to have this division for a long time. I'd like to give you a more optimistic viewpoint. My nature is generally to be optimistic, but the divisions are so deep in our country, and including splitting families apart. So it's hard to imagine that things will be solved quickly. I'm hopeful that in the long run, we'll get on a firmer footing and be able to talk with each other, and that we won't have as much division as we have now. But I think it'll be a long time.
As we wrap up our time together, Bruce, do you think that what are you writing next? I mean, most writers I know, they can't help themselves. They just have to put it out on paper.
Yeah, so I have started another novel, which is tentatively named Forgiveness, and it would be the fourth novel in this series. And the reasons I do this are, one, I know these characters so well that it's easy to continue to write about them. And number two, I'm so passionately involved in their lives and what happens to them. I really want to find out what happens next. I start out creating a lot of problems for my characters, and I want to see how they deal with them and be surprised as I write. So it may take me a while to get a first draft done because I'm teaching now, and that takes up most of my time. But you're right. I always have another writing project in mind.
As I'm watching Bruce on Zoom, I can see great artwork from his grandkids behind him.
It's true.
And it's proudly presented. The name of the book coming out is To See God, and it's published by Black Rose Writing. It'll come out in March, middle of March of this year. And I congratulate Bruce on that. Bruce, hang on a couple of moments. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Coming up, we're going to talk with Nita Patel and find out about how art can heal the world. Don't go away as Late Night Health continues.